Every year at the beginning of the year, people have hot takes for awards, so we're going to hit on that right now. Obviously, NBA MVP, always a hot topic. I don't think there's a whole clear favorite, but I don't think everybody's being that unique from everybody else. I think everybody's looking at a set group for who their MVP is. Dylan, right now, who are you sitting with for your MVP take?
My MVP prediction going into the season's got to be Joel Embiid. There is a little bit of voter fatigue. I know people might think of Giannis, but when I think of Giannis, I think voter fatigue may really come into play here. But Joel Embiid, seeing what he can do with the whole Ben Simmons drama going on right now, he could potentially either have to play A, without Ben Simmons, B, with Ben Simmons, or C, with a whole new set of whatever Ben Simmons brings in on the trade market. And I think either three of those options is going to be an interesting development into the season that he was having. He was having an MVP caliber season last year before he got hurt, and Jokic kind of ran away with it from there. But hopefully Embiid can stay healthy this season, and I think he can get the MVP award because outside of him, the 76ers really don't have much.
Yeah, Ben Simmons not being on the team is going to help Embiid's case, I think, for MVP. If he does good things, I put him as my dark horse, even though it's not like that crazy of a take. I also don't want to sleep on Steph Curry. You look at what Curry did last year. But going back to Embiid, this is a guy that, like you said, had an MVP-type year, and then it just happened to be the same year Jokic was going off and happened to be an injury for Embiid that really threw things off. So I think Embiid's got to really look at. But my take is Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, just watching him against the Nets, that is a dude that's going to pose a matchup nightmare for 29 teams. You're looking at one of the greatest players of all time, and I have no problem saying that, even though he's only 26. Special talent.
On the top 75 list that got announced recently.
Yeah, he's just going to dominate this whole season. He looks good. He keeps getting better. I don't know how teams are going to stop him. He looks even better than he did last year. He was starting to stretch the floor a little bit, shoot it outside. He's going to be a matchup nightmare. Vote fatigue happens, but last year was an off year. He didn't get MVP. I think you're looking at Giannis' third MVP in 4 years coming up.
It's crazy that that opening night game against the Nets, people were saying he really didn't play that well, but he had like 32 points.
Dude,
like if you can get 32 points and people are like, you really didn't play that well, you're something special.
Yeah. Giannis is a generational player. I don't know if we'll ever see another guy like him, and I don't know if we've ever seen a player like him before. Looking for MVP number 3 this year. Rookie of the Year talk. Look, I've been looking at this rookie class for a while, and I think Cade Cunningham is head and shoulders above every other player. He was in a class of his own heading into the draft, and I think Cade is that dude moving forward. I think he's Rookie of the Year, and I don't think it's going to be that close. I know there's some other guys who are going to have good years, but I don't think anybody of that rookie class is like NBA ready to be that guy. And I think Cade Cunningham is already in Detroit and is going to be that guy.
Well, my thing with Cade Cunningham is right now he had this was before preseason, if I remember right, this was in training camp. He suffered an ankle injury, and he's still sitting out with that. Like he wasn't in their opening game last night against the Bulls. And ankle injuries are nothing to joke about. I mean, they really can prohibit your explosive
You would know of
ability.
all people.
Yes, I would know about ankle injuries. They're not fun. They really do limit you more than what people think until it actually happens to you. So hopefully he can come back from that and still be the guy. But it's not really a knock, because if anything, it means he's in a better situation. But the Detroit Pistons have more of a plan than my pick does. The Detroit Pistons have 2 guys that made all-rookie team last year in Sadiq Bey and Isaiah Stewart, and hopefully they can build on that. And Cade Cunningham is more of the dude that's going to like run the offense and be the star in that aspect, but I don't expect him to go crazy scoring the ball. And the voters in the NBA for the awards, in my opinion, aren't always the best well-rounded in their logic, and a lot of it is just flashy scoring. And that's why my pick, if I want to be right about who's going to win Rookie of the Year, is Jalen Green. The Houston Rockets, I mean, they're tanking, they're rebuilding, but they don't really have a direction at this point. Like, it's really just going to be, okay, let's go see what these guys can do tonight. Like, there is no real plan when I look at them, to be quite honest with you. So Jalen Green is my pick just because he will have just free will to do whatever. He's healthy right now. He looks confident. He has NBA G League experience, and I think that G League experience is something a little bit different than college experience is. I can't say which one is better, but I think that there is going to be a difference shown. And, yeah, I mean, his ability to score the ball is something special. He's extremely athletic. Like I said, he's crazy confident too. His first NBA basket was he went right at Karl Anthony Towns. And it wasn't a dunk or anything super flashy. But I mean, if you're going to go at one of the best centers in the league right off the bat in your first game, I mean, that shows that you have extreme confidence in your abilities.
Yeah, Jalen's got guts, and I think you have to have guts to just skip college and go to the G League and be like the first guy to take that route. He's got a lot of flash. I just don't think he's quite as good as Cade. I don't think anybody in this draft is. He's going to be a flashy player. You're going to see him on a lot of Bleacher Report and SportsCenter posts. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, he didn't go through the rigors of the greatest conference on earth in the Big 12. He didn't have to play at Bramlage Coliseum against the powerhouse of Bruce Weber basketball like Cade Cunningham did. And that's going to shape Cade into the player that he's going to be. Jokes aside, I think Cade's the dude. I don't really think it's going to be that close. Jalen, again, good player. A lot of flash, a lot of pizzazz. Cade's that dude.
I think Cade is the better player. I want that on the record. I think Cade is the better player between the two. But if you're asking who I think is going to win the award based on how the award's been voted on in the past, I think Jalen Green's the guy. I mean, people care about flashy. Personally, I guess I shouldn't say people. Personally, I don't. I'm more about results. But people care about flashy, and Jalen Green has way more flash than Cade Cunningham does right now. Cade Cunningham is the more overall well-rounded player. Don't get me wrong there. But sometimes people don't care about that. Sometimes people just want to see you pop up on the Instagram and Twitter feeds for your vote to count.
Yeah, and going anti-flash right now, let's talk about Coach of the Year, the least flashy award you can get. I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite. I could see it going a lot of ways, and that's the way it is every year because you never know how a team is going to turn out. Yeah, it'd be really easy to predict how Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green are going to do this year, but that's what they're going to do individually. It doesn't speak for their team. So from a coaching standpoint, I don't think there's anybody I'm looking at like last year Tibbs blew me away. I didn't expect that at all from the New York Knicks.
I didn't either. I think he has a bad track history, but I was pleasantly surprised with last season.
So I think Coach of the Year is wide open, and my take, a little bit of a hot take, I'm Udoka with the Boston Celtics. I look at what Tatum and Brown can do. I think he's going to get a lot of credit. People love first-year coaches and love to give him a lot of credit. You've seen it in every sport. I think I'm just doing it for the hot take because I don't think any of the front runners are that much of a guarantee. I don't think people want to give it to Quinn Snyder. Popovich, I don't think he has a team anymore that's going to get him Coach of the Year. And I don't think the Heat are a team that people are going to want to vote for Spoelstra again after voting him 2 years ago. I think it's a hot take. I think the odds are against him, but I'm willing to say it. I also think Tyronn Lue is a sleeper pick. I know I've said it before that I think the Clippers are probably a first-round exit team, but I can't speak on what they're going to do in the regular season, and that is when the award is going to be built. That's when your resume is. So I'm saying Udoka, watch out for him, but don't sleep on Tyronn.
Tyronn Lue is my pick. Tyronn Lue, people had questions about him coming into last season. And because
you being one of them.
Me being one of them, that is true. And I think a lot of it is because when he did have success as a head coach, he was gifted with the ability to coach LeBron James. And LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time. And I'm willing to debate that with anybody about any topic. But yeah, I have Tyronn Lue. I mean, his ability to not only coach and make adjustments, but to bring a team together, I think that really, really matters in the regular season because the regular season is so incredibly long. I mean, you think about it. The NBA started 2 days ago. The date's October 21st, 2021. So it started on the 19th of October. It's going to run until mid-April is the regular season. That's when the regular season's over. I mean, that is so much time. I mean, for those of you in school, that's a whole semester. I mean, think about how long that you're in school sometimes and classes drag and this and that. The NBA is just going and going and going. I mean, that's such a long time. All the ups and downs that are going to happen in that locker room. Tyronn Lue's the type of guy that can lead it. But if you want a dark horse, you had Tyronn Lue as your dark horse for Coach of the Year. My Coach of the Year dark horse is going to be Michael Malone in Denver.
I could see that as well. Just because without Jamal Murray, there's going to be a lot of emphasis on this team. And if they have success, a lot of it's going to get placed and accredited to Malone. And I think he's a good coach. I had him in my top 10. I could see it happening.
I think Denver's a team to watch out for. Not only
I don't think they're a team to watch out there, but I think Malone's a dark horse for the Coach of the Year. I don't see the Nuggets having too much success, though.
Jokic, I don't know. Jokic can carry a team.
Jokic
can carry a team. I'm looking for Jamal Murray to come back, and they're just right on the brink. It seems like they're in a game 7 in the playoffs every year. I mean, they're just right there all the time. They stay so competitive. At some point, something's got to give, and I expect them to maybe finally get that push.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. We got 2 more awards to talk about. Second to last one being Most Improved Player. My take, I'm a biased Oklahoma City fan. I'm going with Shea. And I don't think he's going to improve that much from last year. I just think that he had an injury last year, so people kind of counted him out. And then Oklahoma City is a team that doesn't get national recognition. And Shea was very poor in the All-Star voting when he was playing like an All-Star, just because people don't pay attention. So I think that's going to help his case for why he could win Most Improved Player. I know right now he's like the leading favorite for it, but I really do like Shea. I don't think he's going to improve that much from last year. He was our guy last year. The offense ran through him. Everything ran through him. When he was off the court, it was drastically different. Shea is that dude. I love that he's the face of our franchise moving forward. I think he's getting Most Improved Player. Dark horse for that, Keldon Johnson. I think the experience he got with Team USA is going to be a big influence on him. He's a young guy. He should be taking the steps forward and progressing, regardless if he gets an award for it. He should be progressing. I think he's a dark horse. Watch out for him. Keep your eyes on Keldon Johnson.
My last dark horse was Michael Malone for Coach of the Year. But for my main pick and Most Improved Player, I'm going with Michael Porter Jr. out in Denver. The biggest question that I have about his game right now is whether he's going to be on the court with the whole vaccine status that he has.
Yeah, you never know.
But with that, when that guy's on the court, I mean, he's an impressive scorer. 6'10" wing, athletic, can shoot it off the dribble, off the catch, can take it to the rim and score. I mean, at some point, I think that is their third star. That's who they're banking on to be their third star, to be that final piece in the championship that Denver wants. I mean, they paid him that $205 million extension earlier this offseason. Obviously, the faith is there. And with Jamal Murray out right now, I expect big numbers in the first part of the season. And while Jamal Murray comes back, yeah, he might have to take a little bit of a step back. But at the same time, he's also going to shoulder more load while Jamal Murray gets back into rhythm. So I expect big things from Michael Porter Jr. as that second option right now until Jamal Murray does get back. And that's why I have him for my Most Improved Player. My dark horse is also another San Antonio Spur, but it's not Keldon Johnson. I'm looking at DeJounte Murray, their point guard. I mean, that dude is a defender. He's been impressive when I've watched him the last few years, but he always just suffers some injury, and then people miss him and don't talk about him because just like Oklahoma City, San Antonio really isn't talked about that much. I mean, you think of San Antonio, you think of Tim Duncan, Manu, Tony, and you think about Pop, but you don't think about Pop right now. You think about Pop when they were winning, and they haven't been winning lately, so people haven't been talking about him as much. So I do want to give a shout-out to DeJounte Murray because I expect big things from him as long as he can stay healthy. He's a great defender, in my opinion. He's long. He's about 6'6", if I'm remembering correctly, as a point guard. That's not something that you find every day, especially in the NBA. His ability to attack the rack is improving. His jump shot's improving. He's been a pretty solid passer from what I've watched him. So maybe he doesn't get the recognition he deserves when the season's over, but I would keep my eye on DeJounte Murray for the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, when it comes down to Most Improved, though, I don't know if he's taken much of a leap from what he has. I think he's been a really good player. I don't think there's going to be that much of a leap, but at the same time, I don't think Shea's going to take a massive leap, and I guess that's why you were making your arguments that there's not that attention, so that's why he's going to get some recognition.
There's also the thing with DeJounte Murray because, yeah, Shea, you said it yourself, Shea might not take a leap forward, but he's just going to get more recognition for staying healthy. I think that's the same thing can happen for DeJounte Murray, but I think what DeJounte Murray has going for him is right now in San Antonio, they're like fresh on the rebuilding stage. They didn't have a crazy high lottery pick. DeJounte Murray's probably one of their prime young prospects. Like he is the face almost at this point. So I think that's another reason because they don't really have much else to go to outside of DeJounte Murray. So it's almost like he has to produce by default.
Yeah, I like him. I also like Keldon Johnson. But we'll see what happens with that. Last award we're going to hand out, Sixth Man of the Year. Now, this one I wasn't really too sure on. I thought if Klay was healthy, Jordan Poole would be 100% my pick. But with Klay out of the lineup, that pushes Poole into the starting lineup. So my pick right now is a guy who I think would be a starter on a lot of teams. It's a very talented guy. Saw what he could do at OU. Buddy Hield, tremendous scorer. I don't know how much outside of his game is great. Outside of his offense, I don't think he's elite at anything outside of what he can do scoring-wise. But
heck of a shooter.
But scoring is what gets the numbers up, and that's what get people's attention. And I think Buddy Hield's going to have a tremendous season off the bench with the Sacramento Kings, and he's my pick for Sixth Man of the Year.
My pick for Sixth Man of the Year is also a Sacramento Kings, so we're going with the similar teams again. But I actually have Therese Halliburton, second-year guy, was one of the better rookies in terms of being a well-rounded basketball player last year. I expect Buddy Hield to be a starter. That's why I don't have him as a sixth man, to be quite honest with you. So I have him coming off the bench and being that lead guard off the bench. And I think that his play last season only puts confidence in anybody that watches him. Like, he knows how to play basketball. Like, maybe it's not the flashiest all the time, and maybe that's why he won't win this award at the end of the day. That, or because he becomes a starter and takes him out of consideration by default. But he just gets the job done. He scores, he rebounds, he passes, he defends. There really isn't a giant hole in his game. Yeah, he might have a few flaws and nitpicks here and there. He's a second-year guy. That's going to happen to anybody, really. But I look for a big year out of Therese Halliburton because the Kings are supposed to be taking a step at some point. They've been mediocrity at best for the last 20 years. So at some point they have to take that step forward. And I think Therese Halliburton off the bench is really going to help that happen.
Yeah, Halliburton's a great player, absolutely. But in their game against the Trailblazers, their first game of the season, he was in the starting five, and Buddy Hield was coming off the bench. And right now ESPN also has him as a starting shooting guard on their depth chart with Buddy Hield coming off the bench. So that's why I think Hield is going to be the guy, especially, if Halliburton's in the starting lineup, he can't win it. So I like Buddy Hield. I think those are two very talented guys. You can't start both of them. So I'm sticking with Buddy Hield, and I like that pick a lot.
Buddy Hield, he can score the ball, but I don't think people realize how good of a shooter Buddy Hield actually is. Like, he's shooting 39% in the NBA, which is from the three-point line. And that's no small feat. But not only is he shooting 39%, he's shooting 10 threes a game. Like, that's insane. 10 threes a game, and he's hitting them at an elite level. Like, that's why, going back to the trade scenario I proposed on the Thursday show, Buddy Hield in Philly, and all they ever talk about is, we want shooters, we want shooters. You put Buddy Hield out there, he will let it fly. And so, yeah, he's one heck of a shooter.